Hello and welcome to the ESL One Frankfurt seeding tournament here in the ESL One studios, not ESL One studios. I'm here joined at the desk by Toby1, Sindren, Ben, as well as Jacob, also known as Melk. And they will be joining me here for the games, not just to cast them, but also to discuss them pre and, of course, also after the match. We have a great day coming up where all the teams which will be playing at ESL One Frankfurt will be playing it out for the overall seedings. The first 3 places will get to choose their opponents for the main event. So yeah, it's pretty important for those teams to seed well and do well. Today, all the games will be played in a best of 1. And to give you a quick overview over what will await you today, we're going to take a look at the brackets.
It's an awesome bracket, Zoe.
It is.
It's an amazing bracket. Very, very simple for the seeding brackets. Everything is a best of 1, straight double elimination. The main place everyone's looking to go. Yeah.
It's close.
It's a special double elim. But yeah, basically what you're looking for is the top 3 positions. If you can get that, then you get the seeding advantage. Yeah,
and if you're wondering how the seeding brackets have been determined, it actually went by rankings on the joindota.com website. So 2 weeks prior to this event, wherever the teams were standing, that's where they got seeded at. And yeah, so you can see we have a lot of games going on. Unfortunately, we won't be able to show all of them. We do, however, have a second stream going.
That's right. Durka as well as Hansken from NIP will be streaming over on the second stream. That's ESL_JoinDota Red on Twitch. So you can find it there, and of course you can watch the main stream right here on ESL_Dota 2.
Exactly. So yeah, this is what awaits you, and of course, if you want to join the conversation and give us your prediction, who do you think is coming first, make sure to check the social media from ESL. You have them all down here below, and this is where you can follow the action. This is where you can let us know what you're thinking about the whole tournament and about the upcoming days as well, as we have a lot of great games coming up. And the first one we will be showing on this very stream is going to be EG going up against IG. And yeah, we actually looked it up just a few minutes before, and we saw that those 2 teams have not been facing off against each other for a long time. The last time was January at DAC.
Yep, that was it, and that was a 1-0 victory. And the one time before that was actually TI4. So yeah, it wasn't that much. But you guys were interested. You wanted to see EG versus IG over Secret Alliance.
Yeah, I think for the first round matches, I think this has the most interest to me personally. I like the variety in playstyles a lot, and I feel both teams have a lot to offer in this tournament. And then it's just, you know, it's a cultural clash as well. We got the Americans going up against the Chinese. I feel like it's a great storyline, first of all, and then both teams have veterans on it that have a long story in Dota. And for me, you know, Secret Alliance also a great game, obviously. Yep. But this one just has a little bit more interest because of the draft, I think.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see exactly how well IG is going to perform. I know they're coming in as what would be the number 2 team from China, as we got VG Gaming as well as IG here. I want to see how they perform, because we have to remember last Frankfurt, they are the champions.
Yeah.
They won at ESL One Frankfurt last year.
Against EG.
Against EG. And then VG as well. Like, they were the champions over in New York. So right now, ESL, for being the biggest event in Europe and also one event in America, it's only been taken out by the Chinese so far.
Yeah. I mean, also with this match, deciding on what match to actually cover and cast and everything, it's sort of a luxury, right? Because all 8 teams here are absolutely amazing. Yeah. Top notch. It's you know, it's the prime teams of TI even for me. So I feel like there's so much action that is worthwhile watching.
EG is also very selective about which tournaments they choose. They didn't go to Star Ladder, they didn't go to Mars, which Secret and Vici were at, so I'm really excited to see them. They were kind of in a little bit of a slump, but they recently 2-0'd Secret, so I have high hopes for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely one of the top teams out there at the moment. They showed stellar performances throughout the last few months. As you said, though, a little bit of a slump lately, as we saw at MLG events.
They bounced back like 5 days later.
Yeah, definitely. But if you would have to bet your jelly beans on a winner here, do you think that's going to be an easy call, or
for the seeding or for the whole tournament?
For this match, just this match.
Oh, just this
match.
match.
Yeah, we're taking one by one, Sindren.
All right. It's best of 1. I don't know. I think EG. EG probably.
We should give each person 1 jelly bean.
Yeah.
So yeah, they 2-0'd Secret recently. I generally consider, like, if you look over the course of the last 6 months of Dota 2 competitively, I want to say the top 3 are VG Gaming, EG, and Secret in no particular order, because they've had like different times when they've shined. So I would say based on that, EG.
Okay, Toby.
EG would be the clear favorite up against IG, but again, like I don't want to count out IG. IG before they started Frankfurt were the team where everyone was like, you know what, they're probably not going to perform that well, but they showed some spice. I think it was actually the SCII Cup they played in just before the last Frankfurt, and like at that tournament they played really, really well. That was when Ferrari really started to kick into his own. I never really want to doubt that IG are capable of winning a game, especially when Ferrari's firing in all cylinders.
All right, and I mean, you have to take into account it is a best-of-1 tournament. You would give which team the edge, considering?
I think they have a little bit.
That was easy.
Yeah, I think they have a little bit more depth in the roster. I think Universe is like a slightly better offlane player than Luo and can take control of the game a little bit more. I don't know. I think they're a little bit more solid and individually talented.
I hate agreeing with everyone. I gotta do that in this case. But I will say, you know, if Ferrari comes in, delivers his A game, I think IG is actually probably more prone to take the game. I just question whether or not he's capable of doing that at present time, which is why I'm gonna slightly favor EG. But it's very close.
We need odds.
Yeah, we do need odds. But you still go for EG? Was that?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a table full of EG.
What about you?
Well, I go for IG then, just for the sake of someone saying it. Yeah,
it's the value bet now.
Yeah, it really is. So if I win,
you'll get 4 jelly beans, and when we get 1 jelly bean,
I think Jacob brings up a good point though. Like as far as Ferrari goes, both Jacob and Toby, you were both focusing on Ferrari a lot. I think it makes a lot of sense in this matchup, and I think when you look at how EG has played historically as well since Sumail joined, I think they put a lot of emphasis on the mid lanes. I think that's the lane to watch in this game. You want to give Sumail a good start, get him comfortable, get him rolling, and at the same time countering out Ferrari. So this is a really mid-heavy matchup. Maybe the most mid-heavy matchup we'll see today.
It's also going to be very interesting to watch how IG approached this, because a lot of the time when EG were playing, especially before X Games happened, everyone was targeting Sumail, making sure he never got a start. And we saw a big change in the approach to how to play up against EG, where you basically just let him go and focus more on pushing and controlling fear, and especially Universe. Universe for me, like I was writing up something recently about EG, and Universe for me is the one player which I'm not feeling like he's finding the space to be that initiator, that fear factor which you get that then gives fear in Sumail just to go nuts on team fights. So I want to see how Universe performs well in this game too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they're picking and how they're going to approach it. Again, it's a best-of-1. Do you guys feel like they're going to try something crazy out there, or do you feel like both those teams are probably going to go more standard and like just playing it safe?
First game of a tournament, I don't when you don't have any idea about what the micro meta is going to be, this is a play your comfort heroes game.
Micro meta.
The micro meta. I think historically though, it's proven, especially PPD,
have you not had that phrase, Merlini? We had it all at the TI hub. You were saying it, weren't you?
No. Micro meta?
Micro meta. The micro meta of a tournament.
Sind is as confused as I am.
Is that a meta where you just pick micro heroes, or I don't know? It's the only thing I can make it. Micro
Toby,
meta.
explain yourself.
Wow. I'm going to make it a thing right now. It's the micro meta of a tournament.
So before we head into the draft real quick, so historically EG have had a history of always sticking to their guns and do what they know, basically. We saw it especially at TI4, right, where they basically ran the same 2-3 strategies over and over again throughout the tournament, both in group stages and later on in the bracket play. And I think PPD will stick to that. They'll go for what they know works well. And then we can head into the draft. And already, you know, there's a Tusker band that I find very interesting. I think this is going to be one of the hottest flavors of the tournament. We've already seen it in the past few weeks, with Secret most notably, I think. And I think we can expect to see it banned out a lot this tournament.
I think especially teams like the ones that are really focused on early action really like to run it. I'm looking at a team like Virtus Pro who played it recently at Dream League with great success.
Yeah.
And I want to say over the last few months, I think the Chinese have even stepped up their aggression even more. Even though they used to play aggressively over the last year, there's been like this phase, especially was it after 6.84 came out, that they just started like really playing aggressively, and the whole thing around the summit with the games being very, very short. I think it's definitely a hero that suits a lot of teams, so I could get behind that.
How much does it feel like just comfort zone?
100%?
SF for Sumail, Universe, Clockwork, like nothing feels risky here for EG.
No, really not. I mean, in the last 50 games, EG actually played, out of 14 games, they played Clockwork, and they have 10 wins and 4 losses with that. So that's definitely a comfort hero for them.
But the Undying pickup from IG. I'm interested to see how he works. Like, Undying got a nerf, and like before that in China, he was always like, I know SCII was leading the way with this off-lane Undying all the time. And then Soul Rip got a bit of a nerf, and a couple of other things got tweaked around with him. And then we saw Undying becoming, at least in the European scene, then part of this like potential aggro tri-lane and just full teamfight control. What is IG trying to do with his first pickup, Undying, and now a PL behind him?
What?
I mean, as you were saying, offlane has been the primary choice of it. But if you look further back, it's also been a way of securing that you would win your tri-lane. If you would end up in a tri-lane meta, then Undying is the go-to hero simply because of Decay, where you can completely nullify the HP of the opponents. And, you know, when Decay hits an area target, it takes away strength from all of the targets, and they all lose HP and obviously can't fight. It's sort of the same way why Ancient Apparition is also pretty good in tri-lanes, because it gives all of your heroes extra damage. So they work sort of the same way, so I wouldn't put it past them to put it in a support role. I just don't think it'll happen.
I'm also interested to see what happens with IG's second pickup too, because this is going to be a point where I'm going to quote what I was talking with Blitz yesterday about how the meta has moved into this whole long, sustained kind of both damage and survivability. And the Undying gives you that. Like, Soul Rip is an amazing ability for survivability. The Tombstone delays out the fights a lot because the Undying army, either you take out the Tombstone, you've got to deal with the minions, or at least fight through the minions.
In the later stages of the game, Tombstone really falls off.
Yeah, it does. But at least in the early stages, which most of the meta these days is, like, it's this 10 to 30 minute mark where there's just like non-stop fighting or engagements or pushing, like some kind of objective being gained. The Undying gives you that, and yeah, PPD is actually banning out the hero which I was going to go to. I wish I was a little bit faster. Which is the Dazzle, because with the two of them together, you got Shallow Grave, you got Burst Heal, you got Soul Rip, you got all this survivability, and then you've got PL on top of that with Doppelganger, an amazing escape ability, plus creating more chaos during teamfights with illusions. IG could potentially just delay out the fight and beat over, like, until SF's out of mana, or that's it.
I'm not sure if this is the correct read from PPD, though, that this is the plan for IG. Like, we saw some Dazzle Undying in the Chinese qualifiers for TI5, but I think I'm assuming this is a support Undying just to protect the PL. It's obviously not a given right now, so maybe he's just trying to cover his bases just in case it's a dual lane off lane. You don't want to play against Undying Dazzle, for example. So that could be the case, but I feel like if IG do a 2-1-2, the Clockwork is going to get a lot against PL +1, in most cases at least. Their Shadow Fiend mid should have a pretty good matchup in most one-on-ones, especially after banning out the Queen of Pain already. And then I think they would actually be okay with playing against the Dazzle Undying with one of their own strong tri-lanes. So I'm not sure. There might be some sort of plan here that I'm not seeing for EG.
By the looks of it, EG seems to agree with you, right? Because they ban out the Broodmother, assuming that Undying won't be the offlane hero.
So that's why I'm wondering where the Dazzle fit into the whole picture here. Maybe he's just worried about the heal bomb with PL Illusions. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Could be.
And Naga Siren pickup for EG. This hero is slowly coming back again.
It always seems to come back right around the time of the international, right? It doesn't matter what meta it is or what year we're in. Naga Siren just seems to be so persistent. We've seen it, you know, obviously as the hard carry in a lot of tournaments, but also even as a support in the Alliance era of TI3.
We actually had a couple of teams were playing as support recently too. It actually flagged up again. I can't remember exactly which teams it was. Maybe Malini's got it in his head.
Alliance was definitely Loda play.
Alliance plays support Naga, or was it core Naga?
Loda was on Naga.
Yeah,
I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
They might have also played a support, actually, Alliance. Something tells me they played it one game.
Yeah, there was at least one team that played.
I think it was actually EG.
It was EG that played the support Naga?
I'm pretty sure.
Because if that's the case, then it's not a bad hero up against the current lineup if you can get it as a support. Because that's one way you can at least disengage without having to sacrifice.
It's also a good way to kill
thing
Tombstone. Maybe they're scared of like the Undying Pugna. That's kind of
that is a support Siren by the looks of it.
It is. It is.
It has an amazing skill set.
Secret played support Naga.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Secret?
it was Kuroki, 100%.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing it in the Secret EG.
That is true.
We completely went over or missed going over the fact that they picked up Spirit Breaker, so that we now. I think it's safe to assume that this will be the offlane hero.
Oh wait, EG played it too. They played in Dota Pit. In Secret EG.
We're never done with the support Naga. Yeah, I agree though. It's probably a Luo Spirit Breaker offlane. It's actually a pretty decent lane for him. They picked it into the Naga, so they might have not been sure whether that was support or core, but regardless, you can just charge out of Ensnare. You don't really care so much. And casting Ensnare post-charge is really difficult, so it should be decent.
It's like that flight time as he's running directly at you.
Yeah. Or when you're charging away from the lane, but then when the net reaches, you might be safe already. So.
Yeah. Can the Spirit Breaker actually outrun the net?
No.
One thing I'm curious about is it doesn't seem as if EG is at all concerned with the Phantom Lancer. When you pick up a Razor, it's typically not a hero that you would assume would counter the Phantom Lancer well. Which leads me to believe that they want to end it post 30 minutes at least, and probably around the 25-minute mark, because that's really where the strength of Shadow Fiend and Razor are both, and shortly before the power spike of the Phantom Lancer.
Actually, I'd ask you this question too, then, guys. The Naga Siren pickup, like in the later game, like if you're talking like, okay, EG's focused on the mid game. As a Naga support, is it still applicable to get like a Radiance later into the game, knowing that Radiance was recently buffed up, because that at least let you win the split push battle up against the PL?
I mean, if you're EGM, that seems likely, but I don't see many other support players being able to pick up a Radiance or be
AOE.
AOI, yeah, probably the second most farming support player we can think of. But even then, you know, it's a lot of gold to commit. And by the time a Siren will ever have that amount of gold, I don't think that it's likely. We're talking past 30-minute mark for a support Siren to ever hit that.
And the problem about the build-up is that it's 5,000 gold that kind of does nothing until you have the whole bunch at once, right? Whereas generally when you spread out on supports and you look at games, they either get like an Axe build-up, maybe a Blink.
A Diffusal Blade would come into use so much sooner and still be very, very...
I mean, they're probably off for Guardian over it, I would say, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good too. Guardian Greaves kick ass against IG's lineup, actually. It's good against all their heroes. It's really, really nice. So
it's one of the items that we generally don't see too much, because especially because Glimmer Cape has been such a great pickup on supports.
I completely agree with you that EG, they don't seem concerned about the PL. They want to win, and they want to win early, and like their lineup is just not equipped to deal with the PL. So they'll probably just let them farm and then make IG forced to play PL in an unoptimal situation, which is trying to fight early without the proper items and proper farm.
Storm Spirit pickup coming out from IG, so I think they definitely have the upper hand in terms of ganking, despite having a Clockwork. But Clockwork, I feel like against the IG lineup, it really falls off. Battery Assault doesn't really work too well up against the Phantom Lancer and an Undying. It's like neither of them are good. It's definitely not good against the Storm Spirit. I just don't feel like Clockwork necessarily will do much this game. Even like going up against the Witch Doctor, it's probably one of the supports you hate playing against the most as a Clockwork, because you have to get in close with the Witch Doctor, and that allows him to get off the Malediction, and then obviously also healing through everything. It's a hard lineup for Universe to play against this game.
The thing is, I don't think they need to wait for him to initiate. I think they're just going to push and then wait for IG to go on them, and then reset with Sleep, kill Tombstone, get Spirit Break out of position, and then Clockwork's kind of like, okay, he's a great first pick, he's versatile, but we don't actually need him to initiate.
Yeah, it's more about the zoning from the cogs as well and everything, and making sure that the fight is more... Same way that IG is thinking with the disruptiveness of the Undying.
Why do you think they last picked CM?
More early game?
I think like the aura benefits all of the heroes on the EG lineup. You know, Siren is pretty mana intensive. Razor not so much, but can be. Shadow Fiend is
her ult is amazing now too.
Yeah, obviously her ultimate is great, and good setup with Sleep in a sense. You know, and if you can sleep setup, go in.
I mean, even Requiem plus Freezing Field's a little difficult to deal with. Yeah, it's like minus move speed for everyone.
They have 2.5 disable on the IG lineup, and when I say a half, it's because of the Spirit Breaker. It's well, let's say 3.5 then.
Yeah, but I guess you don't skill Vortex super early on with Storm this game, maybe. So we'll see.
Oh, but later on in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I think it's actually time to get officially underway, boys.
We'll leave you to it.
Awesome. We'll see you back again soon. Don't go anywhere. It'll be great. All right. So we'll start off our first game. It is the ESL One seeded matches. This is our first quarterfinal. We have 2 quarterfinals going on at the same time. So if you want to check out the other live stream, it's still going on at ESL_JoinNotaRed, and you're watching the main stream right here from the ESL studios.
Stupendous.
And of course, this first matchup being IG versus EG. On IG's side, we've got Chuan playing as the Witch Doctor, Burning, will be playing the Phantom Lancer. In the mid lane, Ferrari, no surprise there, will be playing as the Storm Spirit. And then toward the off lane, it is going to be an aggressive dual lane from IG with the support of Faith's Undying and Luo on Core Spirit Breaker.
That's going to be a fun lane, or really a bad lane, really, for Razor. Because Aui's not going to be able to do much to keep this Undying back as the Naga Siren, especially when he's had his cans blocked up by the Magic Bush. And there's even a secondary sentry ward placed, and his first sentry ward misses the target as well. So a little bit of trouble for EG on their safe lane, but Fear's able to steal a decent chunk of damage, so he'll be pushing IG as far back out of this lane as possible. Not going to be the easiest time in the world for him, but Sumail, I kind of want to watch this lane more than any other lane. I know we put a lot of pressure on Ferrari to perform really well, but it's Sumail versus Ferrari. It's a big combo to try and battle.
This is a lane where I feel like super early on until, say, level 3, Storm has the advantage. Just higher base damage, good range, decent harassment, and even if they get into trading blows, he's got 6 armor. But so far, Sumail is almost staying even. Ferrari, oh, okay, he's 4 and 3 against 2 and 2, but that's good enough for the Shadow Fiend. If you're in the first 2 waves, get these 4 CS, out of which 2, unfortunately for him, only are give him gold, he should still be fine, as now Ferrari will actually play very aggressively. He might be considering skilling Vortex here to go for the kill. He will actually do it right now.
Wow, Sumail though, he doesn't have a really return, but PPD's going to arrive with the Frostbite, so get some harassment into Ferrari, and this is quite bad for Ferrari, because he doesn't have bottle money yet. So there's no regeneration. He popped this out before so we can play this one out. While on bottom lane, well, actually going to be top lane with the first ball. There's a great start at the top with the cameraman. The PL will take out the Clockwork.
This is a... I said going into the game, I think Universe will be getting a lot out of this offlane. And he is getting a lot of experience, but this time he does trade his life for it. Sometimes for offlaners, it is worth it. I didn't see the situation. Maybe he could have stayed alive or just not got out of position so much. But still, level 3, minute 2 for Clockwork is definitely good enough. He's even going to pressure burning a bit now with the battery assault. And seems like bottom lane, EG are getting a great trade out of it.
It's that level 1 battery assault, and that's going to be the way that Burning found himself in that. He went for the Phantom Rush to start with, so closed the distance up against the Clockwork, who only had Cogs as well as Rocket. And you lock yourself inside your own Cogs pit, and then you're going to go down. But this is a fantastic start for Burning. So the trade-off you're talking about is Fear. Like that farm onto the Razor. But what's really coming in return? Like, Luo is up to level 3, the Undying is finding his levels as well. And you're not finding the Naga Siren really zoning out both of these heroes. Like, yeah, you're going to be looking at 2 melee heroes, so you're getting range for Riptide every time, but that's not really that intimidating.
Oh, he would have been bashed there, that would have sucked, but he's going to charge the mid lane. Just putting a bit of pressure on Sumail. If nothing else, might try to force a TP rotation or a rotation from the CM. He's just going to back off here. No TP forced by Luo.
He can also soak up the experience because you've had Ferrari have to go all the way back to base. So he'll get a little bit of experience. This will push him up to probably level 4 by the time Ferrari's ready to return to the lane. And that's all worth it. Once you got Nether Strike as this Spirit Breaker, you're charging across the map. You got a lot more kill potential.
Man, that one rotation from PPD though just decided the mid lane. It's kind of crazy. Ferrari wanted to go for the aggressive play, and had it been successful, of course, he would have won this lane by a lot. If you solo kill a Shadow Fiend to Storm, the lane's just over. But that CM rotation saved Sumail, put him in a really good position regen-wise, and as a result, he's actually owning this mid lane. 20-10 against 9-5.
Charge is coming up to Sumail. PPD's waiting here, however. He goes for the Nova to start with. Sumail getting bashed back by Luo. Wants to go for more of that 70% chance, and Sumail turns for Razors, and he gets the kill over on Luo. Ferrari also very low. The Vortex will drag him back. PPD has Frostbite up in 1 second time, and now Aoi managed to find this haster, and Riptide's in. The Crystal Maiden gets the kill, but the Ensnare is now available as we have a pause from EG. Aoi having a little bit of lag troubles as he's running in quickly. In fact, we'll actually have a PC crash for one of the players, but luckily we have our ESL staff on site. But Clockwork right behind Sean, it does not look very good for this Witch Doctor to survive at all.
He's pretty screwed, I think. I'm not sure how he's going to get out of that. Well, Ensnare is on cooldown, like you said, but it's on Chuan.
It's currently on him. So he's got another like 1 second worth of control time there from the Ensnare.
Well, if Chuan gets a good cog, he might actually live, because CM is out of mana. Clock needs to come in close to deal damage, and then if he cogs Naga and Clock together, I think he's actually going to live. He even has boots.
You're talking about Cask?
What did I say?
Cog.
Cog. Yeah, he needs a cask. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to be fine.
Well,
I guess the best play for EG here, now they have time to prepare it, which, you know, is the downside of pauses, is that you can think a lot about these situations and it's not as natural as if you just play it out. But you probably want to try to knock Chuan away with the cogs and burn the mana he has for Cask.
You might even push him up on the hillside, but if he gets that close, so yep, there's your bounce.
The other way.
But Aoi's still here, and he's going to body block him up. So Chuan trying to reach the high ground, but you got a haster in there. Not easy to just always keep that block up, and the charge is coming back for Universe. With the lands, the cogs have to come up from Universe, just trying to keep burning away from him, or at least the illusion, but that charge will get the kill unless more support can arrive. Speaking of that, in comes Sumail, but the lance has already done its work from burning, so he'll find one kill, and Patash go for a second one onto PPD. Doppelganger down, chases after PPD. Luo still charged in, but now PPD, it's a horrible game for Across the Maiden. Might be able to reach the tower, but it's going to go down to the paralyzing Cask. The kill insurance, but PPD spent all of his money before death. So
how often do you see a Cask last hit like that? That's such a rare play.
But
it was the play there for Chuan. I don't think they would have got the kill else. The cooldown on Phantom Rush, I think, was still up, and you don't want to expose your Phantom Lancer to a counter gank there. So.
Speaking of exposure, Sumail's so far up, but burning. He's got mana for one Doppelganger, but Sumail will get 2 raises into him. Not 100% certain what Burning was looking to achieve there.
Oh, just a bit of harassment before he moves up, I guess. And yeah, it was a little strange. It's possible he wanted to combine with Luo, but I think Charge was on cooldown, or either that or Luo didn't feel comfortable going in there.
Well, Luo's coming in behind him at the same time. This rotation, PPD, they're going to find Ferrari. He doesn't have level 6 yet, so they start with the Nova. Now they can go the Frostbite, and Snare still available, but the Razors from Sumail doing the work. He only uses 2, actually, then gets stunned up, so never got the second one off, and the double bash from Luo. Sumail so low, moving up to the high ground. Spirit Break is going to finish the job for that, and now as Aoi is in trouble with the Tombstone going down, he's on 35, make that 0 life, and even PPD's found himself a whole bunch of unwanted fans. It's the dire creep wave running for the Ancients, hoping to be denied up to the Dragons. Will he get lucky? No, he will not. Undying secures it with that Decay last hit, and it goes 7-3 in favor of IG.
The early game is going very, very well for them. This is what you want to happen when you put this kind of dual lane off lane with Spirit Breaker and Undying, both of them being able to rotate and have an impact on another lane. The only downside for them really is how much Ferrari is struggling, and it could turn out, of course, to be a really big deal. I still don't think this is the worst game to play Storm a little bit from behind. And, you know, Storm is generally not good when he falls behind, but as we talked about before the game started, they don't have the best counters for Storm, so just with levels, he's probably going to be able to do quite a bit.
You do have one big thing, though, and that's the fact that Fear still hasn't been touched. Like, no kills, no deaths, no assists, but he's 40 for 20 on the bottom lane, continues to farm up, and this is something which, like, well, the PL's found 2 kills, so he's not so sad he's a little bit behind in the CS. In fact, he's well ahead in the net worth by about 400, 500, only 7 minutes in already. But an unstoppable Razor could just force down buildings, and the Storm Spirit cannot jump into that. The downside about him being so low, he can't battle up against the Razor. He can just snipe heroes like Crystal Maiden and such.
Luo gonna return to bot. Looking to get his level 6 here against Fear, but yeah, I'm curious to see what build Fear goes for in this game, because it is, of course, a position 1 Razor, and looks to be an Aquila for starters, Aquila and Wand, with this build-up with the 2 circlets in his stash.
Is it worth going for mech in this game and actually allowing Sumail to go something else?
I think you want it in the Shadow Fiend. Since the increase in mana cost, it's... You know, Shadow Fiend also has decent mana costs with the raises, but relative to his mana pool, and you compare that to Razor, I think mech on Razor now, you more or less need a build-up item, maybe one more than Aquila, I'm not sure. He does have tread switching available though, so I guess it is a possibility. We'll see if that is their call.
Smart from Ferrari. He actually jumps up and leaves a Remnant behind him, so the Illusions cannot get to the top room without losing their life. So he ensures he can at least get that 8-minute rune on top, which is the double damage.
And if he can get 1 kill with this, he's totally back in the game. He's not further behind than that. Sure, well, it is 25 CS, so let's not underplay the importance of this, but the trade-off they got on their other heroes from the rotations, it's definitely manageable, and PL is even on farm now with Fear's Razor, and that is after being involved in 3 kills as well, so they're looking pretty good, and now they're looking to try to win the last lane that they haven't really paid too much attention to, which is bottom lane. Chuan coming in together with Luo.
Yep, Chuan's going to look for that follow-up stun, paralyzing cast, but there's no one there for it to bounce to. The Malediction will connect, and the Undying Tombstone, but Luo having the damage taken out of him. Fear will do the work. The Soul Rib cannot keep Luo alive, but Fear's so low with the Lances coming in. The Malediction pops. He gets one last Plasma Field, which is enough to kill off Chuan, so he'll get himself a double kill. But the Tombstone is still in front of this tower for now. I don't know if IG can force it much further than this, but it's still a 2-for-1 trade-off as Ferrari looks like he did get a solo kill on the SF in mid lane in the meantime.
Yeah, that means he's back in that lane. He might even be winning it right now. I guess their net worth is comparable right now. Yeah, he's actually 4 gold behind the Shadow Fiend after that solo kill. And that's what IG accomplished with this gank bottom. They forced a rotation. EG's trade didn't seem that bad at first down there, especially with how they got in and got a nice ensnare and all the damage drain, but it disallows them from helping mid, and Ferrari does go in for the big play, which is easily the bigger kill here, is the solos fighting off and him coming out on top.
It is coming at a cost though, because I'm still watching Clockwork. About to hit level 7, so Universe is finding its levels, and next fight, like if IG try and force this bottom lane, then Universe will probably TP in to help out. But no one's stopping him, so he's even finding Farn. Sumail just getting bashed up by Luo. Support's not arriving fast enough to get a revenge kill. And in fact, now it's actually arriving for IG. Sumail using one of his races to farm. He's going to get done with the Death Ward and the Malediction. Actually, Malediction missed on him, but the Death Ward still has enough damage with the extra bash arriving from Luo. Now you hookshot him. Will isolate Chuan with a Battery Assault. He's just trying to cast Anthing. At this point, it's just Voodoo Restoration, and PPD was waiting to see if IG will bring more to the battle. But they're not going to. It's a 1-for-1 trade-off, but call for support. Charge on the way in, and they're chasing after Universe. There's no cogs available. The Tombstone is now finally down, but at the same time, Clockwork will drop. Aui's low. The Nova is not enough to stop this, especially when Ferrari has a haste rune. If he will come into the fight, Luo's instantly bailing out here, and Faith will give him all the damage. It's no stun, so Faith will successfully TP out, and Ferrari will just walk away. Man, it feels like IG are dictating everything in this game against EG.
Yeah, they're even going to be getting the top tier 1 as well. They're just using the map better. Their rotations are more effective. They're getting so much out of this Undying pick in particular. I think Faith is doing a great job at forcing fights on their terms. And, you know, EG there, they, in a way, a pretty greedy play trying to kill the Tombstone with just a Naga and a Clock. It takes a long time. The mirror images are not strong yet. Aui's only level 5, and he's even a support Naga, so has no damage items whatsoever to back him up. And when you try to kill a Tombstone like that, the charge comes in when the Tombstone needs like 1 hit, and the zombies have dealt so much damage over time already to them, that's just easy cleanup crew for IG.
We got our answer as far as items goes, so it looks like Fear will be building up the mech for his team. And it's rightly so, like, if IG are pushing like this, they need to have some kind of stability during the engagements. And Sumail needs to make sure he doesn't get caught out in the front lines.
I think they also want another, like, the really good thing about getting a Yules on the Shadow Fiend in this game, as it looks Sumail will be going for, it counters both the charge and it's a way for him to set up on the Storm. And they, as we talked about earlier, don't have the best lineup against the Storm Spirit, so Shadow Fiend itemizing against him could give him maybe 1 or 2 solo kills in the game, and they can really have a major impact. And if nothing else, every time Luo charges in, just Yules him and disengage.
And Fear's really trying to zone out these 2 strengths on the bottom lane. Faith as well as Luo. But what's he meant to do? Like, even when he steals 70 points of damage, he still doesn't feel like he can kill off Faith, because he basically can't. Like, with Decay as well as Soul Rip, there's just so much life coming into him. He needs to have more strength than the rest of his team. And EG are now backing up. They're just trying to get back into this game. So you got Crystal Maiden farming in the jungle, but at the same time, IG, again, this rotation underneath the Radiant Observer Ward. Chuan and Ferrari try and find the opening. They leave their own aggressive Observer Ward behind.
Ooh, this would be a big find.
Fear's right behind him. He actually breaks the smoke, but the charge coming in on PPD, he's the easier kill to go for, so they may as well. They actually commit Cask as well as earn charges. Support's on the way, and PPD goes for the Nova. And Chuan, huge amounts of damage being dealt to him, so he will get 1-for-1 support. But with that Malediction over on Fear, he should be dropping during this fight. Thinking about TPing out, he ends up cancelling it as they now, well, he's low. The 1 charges keep him up a little bit longer. They've got to get rid of the PL illusions. The Malediction won't kill him, and now the Naga Song as well. Slowing down the Undying, keeping Ferrari and Luo a little bit further away, and Sumail winds up the ulti, trying to evaporate Faith with the Plasma Field as well. They had enough damage for it. Luo and Ferrari think about coming back in against the PL. They find Fear with the Lancers down. Fear on 85 life, back behind the tower. They're frostbiting, keeping these illusions away, while Aui's also in trouble. Riptide's available, but it's not going to stop these illusions. Sumail's trying to mop up the creep wave too, so that at least the tower can help him. As Fear, he has no TP available. Plasma Field's off cooldown, so Luo actually takes a huge amount of damage running underneath the tower. They dive deep for Sumail. The Death Ulti is there in Universe, trying to find some revenge. It's just a bloodbath on the bottom lane. Ferrari with a jump out, able to survive. Universe can be careful with that Malediction, especially as the PL continues to chase. The poor Crystal Maiden moves into the trees, and PPD and Universe just try and survive. Universe one-on-one with Chuan. Now the creep wave will arrive. Hookshot's still on cooldown, but the Cogs will buy him some space. Now he's going to back off cooldown, but the creep wave is blocking his path. Goes to the Battery Assault, but he'll die underneath the tier 1 tower, and IG will finally bring down the tier 1 on bot.
This is getting out of control really, really quickly. Another great fight for them. I'm not sure what the total number of kills is. 5 for 2, as it looks like on the recap. And that's before the tower even goes down. They won about a 2,000 gold there. So with the tower, close to 3K here. And you know, when you look over EG's lineup, you've got this Crystal Maiden right now who is supposed to dominate the early game. Doesn't really provide that much damage-wise. Neither do... Oh, wait a second. They're going to catch Aoi here. He's totally screwed. And
Luo actually charged all the way from base now with Vortex, as well as the Nether Strike. Fear being bounced around. The Tombstone's down, but that's actually a big hit. A lot of damage into IG. Fear doing the work and actually still surviving. Unfortunately, they were still battling into the Tombstone with the paralyzing cast control from Chuan and the charge into Samael. No Razors, no Requiemist, just a death one. And PPD again dying to the Tombstone, giving the Undying a triple kill. Even Universe now locked inside the trees. Everything is going so wrong for EG with an ultra kill for Faith. 23-10, IG rolling over EG right now.
He's going to have a 15-minute mech on the support Undying together with Arcane Boots. This is going to be very early Greaves coming out his way. Most likely, we see Undying's getting that a lot these days.
15-minute mech at 1,100
He's got the mech around
gold.
the same time as the enemy position 1.
And
it's absurd.
And got an extra 500 gold on top.
He's 5th on net worth, almost 4th.
Yep.
And he is playing the position 5.
He's 7-1-5, man.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes when you get a lot of kills.
Yep. Just rolling in the money. And then you ask yourself the question now, what does the Naga do? We at least saw the Song of the Siren into Requiem, but that wasn't even enough to kill off Faith at the start. Just that combo. Samael's not strong enough to do it.
I think he didn't have... I don't know if he had full souls at that point, but he was definitely not level 11 either.
Yeah, he didn't have a level 2 ulti.
But yeah, the point I was trying to get at was that now you've got a Crystal Maiden and a support Naga who, between those two heroes who don't have that much damage, you've got decent lockdown. With you have Frostbite, you have Ensnare, but neither of them is an actual stun, so Storm could just jump both of them. That means all your damage needs to be done by a Razor and a Shadow Fiend, of which neither have a BKB. Obviously, it's 16 minutes in, so that would be really early.
Yep.
And the stuns and the slows of IG are just crippling them. They can just kite them around the Tombstone every fight. And EG, unless they drain a lot of damage with Razor, they can't destroy the Tombstone fast enough.
If they do drain the damage, they're going to lose all their life, because Burning's finished up a full Diffusal Blade now. So with this thing on him, like you've already got extra slows, you're not going to have mana to keep throwing out Plasma Field after Plasma Field, let alone Razor with his mana pool. He's got 663 mana and has to burn 225 of it just to use the mech. And then he's got his ulti and 1 Plasma Field on top of that. He's basically dry after that point. We'll rely on 1 charge to even get a 2nd Plasma Field off. I'm concerned. If I'm an EG fan right now, I'm very concerned. If I'm an IG fan, and I'm asking the question, will IG be coming in with all cylinders firing? They're doing so. It's working perfectly. I think you put it perfectly actually 5 minutes into the game. The rotations from IG are just better at the moment. They're always in the right positions. They always find the openings.
I feel like EG are playing into Undying's hand as well. Like, they're playing an Undying game against Undying. And sometimes the better thing is just when there's a Tombstone down, you try to dodge. Maybe you tank 1 hero kill. Instead of trying to take these team fights inside Tombstone and losing 4 or 5. They've done it 2 or 3 times this game. You could imagine that they could have disengaged. You know, for example, a good example was that time when Naga and Clock, they tried to destroy the Tombstone, and they end up paying dearly. Now these couple of other fights near their towers, they're really playing IG's kind of game, and now it's going to cost them a Roshan as well. This is going to go the way of Ferrari, who, by the way, just for fun, is running around with 3,000 gold instead of finishing his Bloodstone, just for style points.
Give him time, man.
And
give him time.
Denying the mid tower as well here for Burning.
Well, there's your soul booster. So he spent the money.
He's got Bloodstone in a moment.
Yep.
He got destroyed in lane. Let's not forget. That one rotation from the CM really shut him down. He's still getting a sub-20 Bloodstone treads.
But the beautiful thing is the PL, as well as like the Spirit Breaker Undying, have just done so much. Even Chuan. Like, Chuan's always there at the right time. They find that extra bit of damage early on from his Death Ward. The Paralyzing Cast control is really nice. And Fear has been hit by Malediction in, what, like 4 out of the 6 engagements that we've seen?
Yeah, at least. I'm not sure, but just his casks have been really what's been deciding a lot of these fights for me, more than the Maledict. It's just, he seems to always be able to find 3 or 4 bounces, maybe even more, just because of the initial slows that come out from Phantom Lance and from the Tombstone. And EG's lineup will very naturally like go towards one spot and expose themselves. They have to come in close with Clock. They have to come in close with Razor. If Naga wants to do anything, bar Riptiding with her illusions, she has to come in close too. And then, you know, it's just a field day hitting a good cask for Chuan.
I almost feel like right now the only way EG can really get back into this game is just finding ganks off, like any gank you can on the map. I don't know if you can catch out the PL, use Song of the Siren to try and set up, and then just blow the living crap out of him. Like, that's one way to do it. That's a 5-kill streak over on the PL. Even killing off the Undying is worth so much right now that you could find yourself with an SF and a Razor getting back into the game. You got great high ground defense. IG finishing this game is actually a bit of a problem. With Plasterfield, Naga, Riptide Illusions, Rockets, Razors, Novas, all these things put together, EG losing high ground is going to take some time for IG. Like, they had the mechs up. They actually, the full Greaves is available for Faith. Like, he's looking great. Lua's already got Blade Mail up and running. Like, they've got a lot of their items to get up on high ground, but to actually finish the racks and fight EG inside their own base, that's going to require a little bit more.
Well, let's see.
Wow, they actually... EG's going for a trade-off.
EG have to come back for this.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to go pretty fast. They have level 4 Tombstone Soul Rip available. Greaves, as you said, are off cooldown as well.
Razor can TP in.
They're going to have to make a big Song play. I think, as you pointed out, they could try to go for Burning, but I think it's super difficult because Doppelganger has like no cast point. So to land that SF combo on him, you need to do it. We're talking frames. You need to land that within.
Yeah.
Samael plays an incredible Shadow Fiend, and it's easier to set it up with Yules than with Song, because you're in control yourself, whereas with the other, you're like, all right, now let go, time it perfectly, here we go, just let your Song... That's not happening against PL. But they could probably kill any other hero with that combo if they try it.
Clockwork just blew his hookshot. I don't know if he was looking for Luo. Luo was charging a hero. I think he actually initially charged Fear, and then Fear TP back to base, so he stopped as he went past the tier 2 tower. So Universe was coming out to try and pick him off outside the base, but didn't happen.
What did IG get? They got 2/3 of the tier 3. They still have Aegis on Ferrari. And he, by the way, just finds a good rune.
Another DD.
Now, the problem for EG here is that their lanes are going to start getting pushed out pretty hard. I think we're reaching the point when PL is a lot faster at pushing, and Storm can push safely as well. And if they get caught on their side of the map, they lose racks.
Paralyzing Castle going to bounce, but Aoi can only stop this. Puts out the Song of the Siren, they go for the mech, and that is it. Good. They kill off the Tombstone. Now Samael can potentially set up. PPD's also there, but they make the call just to get the hell out, but they jump under. The Cogs Ferrari underneath the tower, able to zip himself away. Samael still wants to go for it out, but the paralyzing cast from Chuan, again stopping the Requiem of Souls. Samael needs to survive through this, but he cannot do so. The Death ulti will pop. At least there's no Tombstone. The power to push up high ground isn't there because they've got no creep wave as well. So that backdoor protection will help them.
In that situation, hands down the best play EG could have made was what they did. They used Song, they destroyed the Tombstone, and they tried to run. There was no better play. If they Song and try to run, I think they're too slowed from the zombies. And if they try to fight, they get destroyed. So they had to try to go for that play. It still was not enough.
To lose the SF... I think EG, in a way, could be happy with that, because it could have been the GG. Now Ferrari going to jump back in again. The Cogs pushing him out, burning as much mana as possible. But remember, he's still got the Aegis Immortal on Ferrari. And now, another quick jump. That static link is up, but Fear, the paralyzing cask again from Chuan. Fear needs more time and doesn't have it. PPD goes in for the ult. He's actually dying to the Blade Mail of Luo for a moment as, well, the jump out from Universe. He's chasing after Chuan. Gets that Gem of True Sight to drop on the ground, and then a straight TP out to safety. The charge will come in, so Universe won't be able to survive through this. And Ferrari, in the meantime, he's respawned back into World of Living. Samael back up too, but now he's going to drop straight again. He's down for the count. Triple kill for Burning, and it's just Fear on Ferrari. More support to arrive soon. Nope, they're all getting out. So they battle underneath the tier 3 tower. The tier 2 tower actually not taking that much damage, but the rest of EG, they are.
Still a big win for IG there. They get 4 for 1, or 4 for 2 actually. No, never mind. One of them was just the Aegis. So
it was a buyback though from Fear.
Yeah, 4 for 1 plus a buyback. So that's like, you know, some people count one buyback as one death, but it's still, yeah, easily. You could call it a 5 for 1 if you want because of that. But no matter how you look at it, really, really big win for IG.
Well, IG, can they finish it off? Can they actually cause, I don't know if we could say upset victory, but still knock EG down into the lower bracket in the first game of ESL One?
Yeah, so far we've all been very wrong apart from SCII. She is, she's celebrating already. I think she's pretty close to feeling like this is in the bag for IG. It is a 500 GPM lead at minute 24, roughly. They're actually above 500 GPM lead, almost 14,000 gold on their side. And you know, I don't even feel like EG's, let's say this goes to the hour. I don't think EG wins the game late game either. The Storm is going to be a big problem for them. The PL is really huge, and they don't have the best of tools to deal with the illusions. Witch Doctor historically just gets ridiculously powerful in late game with an Eggs. Even though you have counterplays, if you have that one bad fight where you don't find him, you're in trouble. Arguably Undying falls off, though. That's the good news for EG. The longer the game gets, they can try to counterplay him a lot better. But for now, he has done his job. Let's put it that way.
Oh, he definitely has.
8-1 and 9.
Can't really ask much more than that. So IG just gonna hold on to that lead for now. Is this the time as EG though? Like, you just try something YOLO. If you think, okay, if we can't do it in the late game, if we can't win the late game, where do we go from here? Like, it looks like they're grouping up for just a 5-man smoke. Maybe they can catch IG out. Do you wait for the next Roshan timer? He's up in a minute. Like, is that the position where maybe you can catch IG inside the pit and get a really favorable fight? Aegis to follow up?
If you can steal Roche with Song, that would be a big play. It's very difficult, though, because they have no grip on the map whatsoever. The only wards they have are on their...
It would be Clockwork
far
Rock.
on their side.
Clockwork Rocket's the only thing they could use to just get out of that.
And then they need really good timing as well. And I would definitely say you try to contest Roche. I think if you give Roche to IG, the game is more or less over. The Storm will be able to freely just jump in and kill CM, so she can't get her ulti off.
Well, they might better find one. Universe, the smoke's going to break on him, and Luo needs to charge away pretty quickly. Can he do it? Yeah, he can, and no hook shot. They don't find the line, now they will actually hook shot up. Luo gets control, the Blade Mail is there. The Frostbite should be able to find the last bit of damage, including the Riptide, and Universe TP out in time. No, we cannot. Burning just does way too much damage too quickly. So you get a 1-for-1 trade-off. That's all you get.
Well, it still favors them by about 300 gold, 250 experience. It's something, but they used to smoke for that, so...
And they're probably going to lose some mail for this. Chuan's waiting for the jump on top. Or how far away is Ferrari? He's still farming in mid. But he's got mana to get over there. The Malediction as, okay, Chuan, Yield Scepter, Samel winds up the ulti, but in comes Ferrari. Song of the Siren will cancel this. It's actually not a bad position. They can bring down the Tombstone, and now Samel can wind up for the ulti again. Here it comes, and Ferrari, he just gets hit pretty hard, but still survives. Chuan with fear, coming with the players, but the plasma field. Faith is just running himself away and burning. He may even die here. Doppelganger's up, can't make it to the other side of the ravine, and that is actually hitting the wrong unit with the ensnare, but Burning still being attacked by the tower. Plasma field's back off cooldown. It'll reach him and find the kill. A huge fight for EG. That's worth so much money.
That was a really, really nice song into Requiem. The timing there was about as perfect as it gets from Samel. Storm didn't even get to jump before he took the Requiem. They did so much AoE damage as well. All right, they're not done.
Again. Ferrari has a crack. Aoi can't help him out. There's no Song of the Siren, and he needs to keep Fear alive. The Mage Charge go PPD with the Nova. Ferrari actually dropping very, very low. Forced back and face on a great position. Fear can survive this. Luo, well, there's a Glimmer Cape, but a hook shot in from Universe. Cuts him off for the pass. And IG, they try to re-engage, hold their control, and they ended up giving a huge amount back over to EG. Fear is now up to 4k gold on the Razor. This Aghanim Scepter is a reality.
Easiest Caster's Curse
Actually,
of my
it's not
life.
even that. He's not going for it.
He's getting Shivas, it looks like. He almost has it. 400 gold to go, I think. Yeah.
They're also able to hold on to the gem from IG. So Chuan, who bought that one, they're going to lose that, which means IG, not only have they given over a huge amount of gold and experience off their 14,000 advance, in fact 17k for the experience, they're now going to go dark on the map. The wards will time out or they'll get dewarded.
Yeah. Wait, where is... Who has the gem?
It's on the courier. It's on EG's courier.
Oh, I'm surprised they don't give it to AUI and have him look around with the Elis. Oh, it looks like that might be what they're doing now. They're sending out the Crow. Because that would definitely be the play right now. Just take advantage of Naga Siren's mirror images and get the full map unwarded. But no, they're currently just sending out a single ward to PPD.
They're looking over towards Roshan now.
Yeah.
So they want to see when IG move there. Clockwork Rocket's probably going to be going there 100% of the time it's off cooldown. They need to see inside that pit, because if IG can pick up Roshan, they can secure themselves inside this game. So 10,000 is the advantage currently, and EG, they still need another big fight like they had previously to get back into this game. But at the same time, it's going to get more difficult. Look at the farm on Ferrari. While he might have died the first time, well, actually, did he even do that? No, he was able to survive. But
I think he hasn't died for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a while. But he's getting close to that Scythe of Ice on him. And
is it a Scythe?
You're not looking at a BKB over on the Razor. It could be something else.
It's a Shivas, I think. Yeah, well, he has the recipe in base, yeah.
Okay.
It's just it just feels like the Shiva's kind of game. Like there's so much cluster fighting that you will easily be able to hit 3 or 4 targets. It's really good against the Naga illusions.
But
it's really good against the multiple
do you not get worried
right
about like the SF? Like if you can lock him down before he gets the BKB off.
Oh, yeah, that would definitely be great. That's true. But they still...
Hook shot in. Oh. Universe can have a crack. He isolates Faith to start with, and he can't... Well, actually, will get the Tombstone off. And now Owie, Song of the Siren's going to go. And Malediction's probably going to be killing off Universe at the same time. He'll TP back to base to try and survive. And he looks like he'll be successful. A stand for Requiem from Samal with a Passifield combo. Ferrari is in, but where is the control? It's not there. Luo's even trying to join the fight. One bash back, but they've lost 4 heroes for the price of the Clockwork, who did die back at base. Ferrari, the sole survivor of IG once again. And this is a critical time because Roshan's up and the tier 2 tower's exposed. And in fact, they just go directly for Roshan.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now. This is unbelievable how they're winning these fights. Every single... So again, another great Song Requiem, and it gets easier every time because they have the BKB now on the Shadow Fiend. Makes it so much easier to execute. But PPD's freezing field in that fight was absolutely monstrous, and they didn't counterplay him at all. They're just letting him do it.
Well, they don't have the stuns, really.
Yeah, now that's going to be a problem, because if they would have gone for the standard Orchid build-up on Ferrari instead of the Shivas, maybe he could go for that. But I just think they might have underestimated the threat of PPD, which I don't blame them for. I think Shivas was a good choice. It was also going to be... I think I would have done the same in Ferrari's position in this game, and they're just really getting outplayed the last couple of team fights.
Do we now call it a buyback worthy for the PL? They stopped EG from doing Roshan.
Easily worth it.
And then actually stopped EG from taking... Because they could have taken the tier 2 tower, they could have taken Roshan. And they tried to go for Roshan, which means they didn't get tier 2 tower, now they don't get Roshan as well. And in fact, IG are going in for Roshan at the same time. They're going to find Chuan in mid. That's Ferrari going off, Fear going after him. And with the insta, okay, there's so much damage from Fear. He's just going to rip apart this poor little Witch Doctor. But IG... They have Roshan Universe! Oh. He goes in. He'll end up dying, try to go for a bit of an all-in style play with a hook shot. Can't take it. It would have been next level if he did.
It's one of those situations where a lot of the times when you see a player try to YOLO Roche like that, just jump in and try to steal the Aegis, and you're like, that was definitely not worth it because you die, you have no buyback, and the enemy team can push with the Aegis, but he's pretty low level. Risk-reward ratio, I think that was an admirable attempt. Like, there's... He didn't really give away anything, I think. Maybe like a few hundred golden experience, but no threat at all of being pushed. Their lanes are in good condition right now. And if it had worked, it would have been great. It could have been amazing, you know?
Yeah, it could have been, man. But it's just a little bit overrated. We can't get one of those catchphrases out.
No, what do we
Fear's got to be careful on this top lane smoke gang. Luo just needs a little bit more vision here. Goes into the Glimmer Cape and Fear's just running away. It's actually really difficult to kill. That's 33 points of armor they've got to get through, 1800 life, and support will get to him in time. In fact, if they engage here, you would have just had the Song of the Siren from Owie come out. And then they would have get absolutely nothing and potentially counter-initiated on. Another point where I almost want to quote Blitz. Like, teams are just drafting right now to counter-initiate. You don't care about setting up yourself. In fact, if you set up yourself, you're going to find yourself in a worse position. So just draft for the counter initiation, which EG has done perfectly. Ooh, and you get a Solar Crest on the Naga.
Big item, because IG's heroes don't want to get MKB at all. You can do it on Storm and PL situationally, but it's definitely not a go-to, and even in a 6-slot build, you tend to not see it on those heroes. So very, very nice to be able to drop that onto either the Razor or the Shadow Fiend. And of course, they can also use it aggressively if they do want to blind any single target in the situation. There are no BKBs on the Dire, so they can't really play around that too much.
Yeah. No BKBs, no Monkey King bars.
Okay, there we go.
Yes, he's like, screw it.
All right. He got it literally 1 second after I said that. I can't believe it.
Caster's Curse is real in this game, man. I got it at 5 minutes. You can take it at 33. So PL having his BKB, at least able to freely move around during the engagements, but it still asks the question, though, is it enough to keep the rest of his team alive? Because at this point, Storm Spirit's been the only sole survivor every fight, because he just jumps away from the big control factor, like the big AoE of EG. Does this now mean that PL just BKBs, runs away, and then comes back in again? Can you then still fight when you lose both the Spirit Breaker, Undying, and Witch Doctor? Because they will die if the fights keep going the way they were previously.
I'm actually really curious to see how he is going to use that BKB, because I think it's a good choice. Of course, you can block a lot of the spell damage coming out, Crystal Maiden ult, Requiem, but he needs to be careful that he doesn't pop it when Song is out, so he can get isolated.
Oh, that would be disgusting.
And I think EG's lineup is actually good enough at chasing him down that if they just Song while he's BKB'd, even if he doppelgangers away, they have like hookshot, they have ensnare to catch him up. And that should be enough, I think, during the duration of the song. So it could even work worse than if he didn't have it. He needs to be a little careful. However, if he doesn't use it before the song, he can actually fight after the song. And that's what he's looking for, because in the last couple of fights, he just gets blown up by AoE magic damage that I thought EG's lineup wasn't going to output enough of, but especially with the CM ult from PPD, they actually have the tools so far.
That didn't really get buffed though, did it?
It's been buffed like 4 or 5 patches in a row, but not in this last one. Not that much. So in comparison to every other patch.
So CM was slowly getting better and no one really knew. The rocket flies out as IG move into position to try and initiate somewhere. But they know if they jump in, that Song of the Siren's going to come down. So how are they even meant to... Okay, how is... If we look at the best position for IG, how do they initiate onto EG?
They get an Orchid or a Hexa Ferrari, and then they just blow up Naga. And then the fight is almost over at that point. Like, even though EG got a nice fight, they're still behind on both Gold and Experience, and I still think they're behind
jump in. Sumail going to be pulled back. Where's that Song of the Siren? Not coming out yet. Now it might do so. Sumail pulled up, and then BKB, but Luo. Now Sumail winds up the damage. The Spirit Breaker might couple up, but he actually turns on the Song. So the Requiem does no damage whatsoever. Burning's BKB will help him to be isolated, but Luo charged back in again. He dies almost instantly, and Chuan goes for the Death Ward. Where's the control? The Tombstone is down, but Chuan's being ripped apart by Fear. 224 points of damage is put into this man. You'll set the rod from the SF or let him survive a little bit longer up against Ferrari, who's locked inside the corner. Jumps out, but now he's right next to Fear with no man to speak of. And where is your damage output? Fear's lost his bonus, but there's still enough. In fact, he's chasing for more, letting PPD finish Ferrari, but he's got a small jump up the hill. Ferrari away. The Aegis Immortal is there. That's probably why he didn't want him. Does Universe have a hook shot? 13 seconds. Ferrari will TP out to safety. And IG should be really happy that they didn't lose more.
That was very close to being a great play from EG onto Ferrari. Like, they still got a great fight, but what they wanted to happen there was they wanted Ferrari's Aegis to expire. There was like 5 to 10 seconds on it, and they were trying to just let him live and then kill him off, but he gets just enough mana to jump off the cliff and stays alive there. But yeah, another good fight for EG. This time, you know, I feel like IG are a little bit shooting themselves in the foot with their initiation strategies, where they always go on the core that's really hard to kill, and they know the Song can always counterplay them. So I think in that situation, they try to bait out Sumail's BKB in the Song, which they managed to accomplish. And even though the Requiem did 0 damage, because it was at the same time as the Song, they still couldn't chase through. The CM ult, he goes in with Glimmer Cape, he activates the ultimate, they had no counterplay. They have to run away.
Yep.
PPD has been doing so much work in this game compared to what I thought he would after the early game.
You kind of think, yeah, with the Crystal Maiden that just does, like, dying in the early stages, you just think, like, can I stop the feed at some point? Now you actually hit 37 minutes in, and you get a BKB over on PPD. This Crystal Maiden now cannot be interrupted during her Nova, which is almost level 3 as well.
They almost have Hex on Ferrari. That's the one thing they can do, but you really don't want to jump Hex the CM just to get Sung,
well,
and then...
Yes. That is it. Like, you jump in on the Crystal Maiden, you stop her from letting off her ulti, or you jump in on the Naga Siren to stop the Song of the Siren and everything else. But then potentially, what you got Glimmers, you've got Clockwork that can force staff them out or hookshot them out. Actually, how many we've got 3 Glimmers over on EG.
It feels like, to an extent, for me, that IG just missed their timing, or, well, they didn't even need to take the chances they did. They could have kept controlling the map, farmed a bit more, maybe taken down the last tier 2s. Instead, they went for a really aggressive all-in play and got counterplayed really hard. And now I think they need to take some time and just farm. Just play for later on in the game, get another core item or 2 on the Storm, get another core item or 2 on the PL, and then maybe they can manage. But I think EG are looking to take the fight to them. Fear has 45 armor.
Not too shabby with an Assault Cuirass as well as Shiva's Guard.
I like his choice of not getting BKB this game. I think a lot of Razors would have, but he realizes that, well, if he gets targeted, they need to commit so much that they can still just Song and turn it around on them. Yep. He's almost unkillable right now.
EG, though, at a point where they can go high ground. Like, cause I'm seeing him having to TP back right now.
Now he has 50 armor, by the way,
tower.
with Let's, just saying.
How are you actually meant to finish the game if you're EG? So Mel doesn't look like he has enough damage output at the moment. Is this still when you look into something like the Ag and Scepter to finish up on the Razor? Or do you find just like man mode and just go up high ground.
I think Axe Razor is a decent choice. Like you said, alternatively, they can get a heart and then they can put the crest on him, and he's going to be really difficult to bring down. Shadow Fiend probably won't need the crest. He already has butterfly evasion for himself. So if you're EG, I think you look for the Aegis, then either Axe or heart on Razor, and you start pushing high ground. And the only thing you need to force is the Tombstone from IG. When that's down, you can Song, destroy the Tombstone, and take the team fight, and I think you actually might win it. So IG have to split push constantly and avoid that from happening.
Well, here's your magic time that you're looking for IG. The Scythe of Ice is now done over on Ferrari. So that disable is available for them. And next Roshan time is now just under 2 minutes away from spawning. So we'll keep our second eye over on the pit, the first eye on Ferrari. It looks like EG just trying to claim some easy money. Tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. It's not worth IG going into a team fight for it. So EG just get the bonus cash. And in fact, they may even look for the tier 2 as well. But they're getting split pushed pretty hard. Like, Burning's already looking to bring down the top tower. You got Ferrari forcing out the mid. So if they do take this tier 2 tower, it's the trade-off for 2 tier 2s almost.
I'm not sure what Burning is scared of. Okay, now he's going to start moving in. He's still keeping his hero at a distance. Now finally goes in and hits the tower, because when Shadow Fiend and Razor are bottom, I think he's pretty much unkillable, right? You can, even if they TP in and they say they use Song, he can still BKB TP out. Or BKB double ganger rather, as the Ensnare can of course catch. I mean, maybe there was a condition where he would have died there.
Well, a lot of TPs coming in. They're just keeping their tier 2 alive in the mid. But that's all. Like, nothing much more. Making so at least it's a raw tower trade-off.
Almost 2 for 1. Yeah. 4 staff from Faith. I think this is to address the whole clockwork/CM problem. They need to find a way out of that danger zone.
It's the second one they purchased too, because they got one over on Chuan already.
Yep.
He got that one about 10 minutes ago now.
He's working on the Ags. They need to play for late game. I don't think it's realistic for IG right now to try to siege the base at all. Even with Aegis Cheese, I still think they can lose the fight. But if they secure Roche for themselves, at least they know EG won't come high ground. And that's another at least 5 minutes of farming that they will just gain from taking Roche. But
EG Rocket Scalp, they're going to see Chuan and a hook shot up from Universe. Yep, he goes for it. Cogs block and actually pushes Chuan up the hillside. So then they can go for the raise with the 4-staff down. He's away to safety, but Universe right behind him. They're just pushing him around. The Paralyzing Cask will stop PPD. But there was no other place for support to come in from IG. They don't find the kill, but Roshan is up. We've got this little Satyr that is battling up against it. It belongs to, well, who's got the helm with the Dominator? It belongs to Sumail.
Oh, PPD really aggressive on the top lane here with his Glimmer. He is super dead when he comes out of this, or has to BKB at the very least here.
He's got BKB, Frostbite. Ferrari's forced to jump away to safety. He still wants to finish up the ranks. Burning's taking this. At the same time, EG, they've finished up Roshan. The Vortex back, pulling in Universe, but PPD's Oli is still doing some work up against Ferrari. With another Frostbite, Universe survives on 22 HP. Is there a stun? Is there something? Nope, both will TP out. The melee ranks will drop. At the same time, Sumail battling up against Chuan, using Aoi for control. It's that Song of the Siren from him into an ensnare, and then the damage from Sumail. More than enough to rip through Chuan. So what did you lose here? EG took Roshan, they get a kill on the Witch Doctor, but they lost their melee racks on top. And they might be able to catch out Faith. In fact, yeah, he's isolated. The Static Link starts 4-staff away, so at least breaks that link, and the Tombstone on the high ground. They can't bring it down with just using the Song of the Siren, but Sumail's got enough damage, he does the work. Fear being dragged back in, PPD looking for more control with the Nova and Frostbite still available. They're not going to lose anyone, but the Tombstone now on cooldown as well.
I think EG are happy with this. Losing a tower in 1 melee Rex,
well, they got
considering what could have happened.
They can actually go high ground now.
Yeah, I think they might just try to push for it.
There's no Tombstone. You've got the Aegis on Razor, and you still got Cheese over on Sumail. They can take mid-racks, but it's still a counter-racks. Universe, hook shot up, he found Faith. Cog pushes him back in again. They need to finish him off quickly. Fear can't do it. Again, these 4-stars from IG, allowing them to stay alive a little bit longer, and the PL illusion's causing some problems. But they already got through the tier 3 tower. Tombstone, how long have we got? Another 11 seconds before it's back up and running again. And Burning did end up going for that Monkey King bar. Universe just zones them out with the Cogs. They can't finish off the range racks, and EG, they're really not sure about this anymore. Ferrari's considering the jump in too, but EG are so tied together, if he jumps, he's dead.
Oh, this is a big item coming out for Luo.
Is he going to charge with it though? Like that BKB could work, but...
Probably not just yet. They just... It's like whenever you play against a Crystal Maiden who gets these kind of items, you need to respect her. She's like one of the strongest supports in the late game. It's a very special hero in that regard, that it's one of the, 90% of the game, she's one of the weakest late game supports. And then there's that 10% where she's just insane.
BKB from Smell, the paralyzing cast forced at Universe. This time he's going to miss the hook shot. Faith got his tombstone up, but at the same time, Song of the Siren should be back up as well. Luo, there's a BKB. They can isolate these heroes. Luo's a little bit further down. Universe wants to try and control him. And yep, with the ensnare, they can do it. And then Burning. Well, where's the extra hit? He doppelgangers away. Smell couldn't bring him down, but Fear losing so much life. Remember, the Aegis Immortal is still available. And with the ensnare, they actually stop the Death Ward. PL has to buy back, burning back the World of the Living. But you've also got a fresh Titanic that's just flown in for Samael. Storm will jump out for Ferrari. He gets the pull back, no stun control. And because he held on to Samael, there was no damage available, but it will still be pumped into Faith as Ferrari controls now out the window. They just keep pushing EG. They're locked in by their own cogs of Universe at the moment. It does mean Burning can't run at them.
They can't find the tombstone. They finally found it, pinged it, and then it's gone.
Well, they get through the melee racks, but at this point they have to back up. They have to get out of here. Their top lane is in tatters. Their tier 4 tower's taking too much damage. And they did force what out from IG. We had a buyback from the PL, and that was all. The rest of it was just death and respawn.
I really love seeing this play from EG because I feel like this is something a lot of teams don't do enough, is using their tier 4 towers as a buffer. A lot of the times you see teams, oh, there's a wave in our base, we have to defend, but these tier 2 towers, or sorry, tier 4 towers just held back 2 or 3 or 4 creep waves, and they didn't even lose one of them. And the trade-off they got was so much better than just what they could have done by just playing the standard go back and defend play.
They didn't even care about the range racks, because that also was lost on the way through.
Yeah, I still think that's worth it. That was really good decision making in my opinion, getting this trade.
Well, Razor doesn't have enough lightning. Well, he might not have enough life either. Ferrari jumps in. Where's your support? Fear, he's so low. He gets the mech charge off. Universe jumps in. Can he burn the mana of Ferrari off? He can do so. Now in comes Luo. He wants to keep going in. Where's that Frostbite? The BKB to go. Fear, the Glimmer Cape. It keeps him invis with the ensnare. Luo can't get in range for the Nether Strike. They're giving Fear back life again. And now the Nether Strike used to get himself away to safety, bumping Smell back in the process. And IG bring 4 plays to top lane very quickly, but EG scrambling the defense for their Razor.
How many times are IG going to get screwed by these Glimmer Capes before they buy a new gem or some dust? Like, they have one in stock, I believe.
Problem is they're dying.
They've had it for a while.
They're dying so often that you're going to lose the gem straight away anyway. And who's going to carry it?
But they can't win the fight without it. That's the thing.
True.
So you have to try for it. Like, if you don't want gem, fair enough. But at least get a dust on one of your supports, or, you know, even Ferrari actually has an item slot right now. Someone has to get that True Sight. It's, for me, the #1 thing that EG has outplayed them with in the last, like, 10 minutes has been Glimmer Capes. Every fight, they keep their heroes alive on a slither of HP.
Oh, they just got a glimpse of Universe. And now your Glimmer Cape goes from Faith. He wants to get the hell out of here. Now they find a tombstone in the middle of the jungle. And the rocket just a little bit off target, so Luo will be able to TP out. Universe doesn't have Ag in him, so he's not just going to go for a fish hook. This game got so much tighter than I thought it was going to be. It really looked like you look at the graphs. EG was so far behind in IG. Like, IG had 15,000 net worth advantage and experienced even more. Now they might be able to blow up Ferrari. Nope, he gets a Hex off, Frostbite right behind him. And Ferrari just wants to jump away, but hook shot up. Universe again with a cog pushback. Ferrari, he's still got more mana to get away to safety, however. So he will be fine.
Such a nice play, though, from Universe. First, he cogs him in. Or he knocks him back with the cogs, and then when he's about to come out the cogs stun, he force stabs him into the cogs one more time. But they still didn't have the lockdown for Ferrari, and man, that would have really sucked for him if he would have literally right after he got the gem from Faith, if he would have died as well. That would have almost, I don't know, that might have been enough for EG to force a buyback from Storm and get the gem. That would have been one of the biggest kills of the game.
What do you think about this pickup of Mjolnir over on Razor? Like, what's the purpose of it?
They just want to deal more with PL. And since he's tanky enough, he can probably get away with it. We were considering Heart and Ags, but the Mjolnir might be good enough. When they're sieging the base, this is the kind of game where, because both, now that Shadow Fiend is so strong, he can probably just be the Sieger instead of Razor. And that's why then he doesn't need to go up there with the Axe. He can instead focus on the team fight that will inevitably break out.
Should also flag the fact, too, with the amount of money which is on Samael, even after death, he could probably just buy back and have enough money for BTs.
Yes,
he's got a surplus of 3,300 at the moment.
Yeah.
So, easy money. Easy money. And potentially then 2 SFs during a fight. Now, well, starting with the cask and just the decay harassment. And this is the perfect lane for EG to push in. It's the harder lane to push in because the creeps are bigger for IG. But they know the momentum of the middle lane is just going to keep coming in for themselves. And they quell the momentum of IG's strongest lane, which is the top, where they claim the racks themselves too.
Yeah, this is a very important moment for both teams because... Well, let me check the buyback status.
You've only got Storm Spirit. Everyone on EG has buyback apart from Razor.
EG obviously don't know this. If they did, they might play it more aggressively and just try to force a fight where they trade, say, 3 for 3, and then they just buy back their heroes and go and get the racks. But for now, they're at least getting the job done with trying to corner IG. They have lost almost all of their map presence. They have 1 defensive ward, and then they have the bottom lane pushing for them, but that's it.
And that bottom lane push won't be too bad for EG. Like, what you may have some damage done to your tier 3 tower, and in exchange you take out a tier 3 tower on top. It's again that trade-off where with top for bottom, or tier 4s for mid, sorry.
I actually think this bottom lane of IGs will take racks if they don't go back. It's got 2 siege creeps. Because it's taking so long for it to push, it's also going to grow bigger. Maybe not. Oh, actually, never mind. Are they even pushing that lane now?
It doesn't look like it.
I felt like they were pushing. The Illus of Naga must have cut the wave there. You can see they're coming in with some health lost from the Riptide. So Aoi got the job done. This bot lane is now.
It could also be the rockets from Universe.
Yeah, that could be.
Like
too.
you got many different ways that you can just throw back illusions or whatever you need. At least Lure gets a nice little up, and we actually get... Wow, PPD, how much net worth has this guy got? Because he's now picked up a Lotus Orb.
It's to counter the Storm's Hex, to purge that off, and of course protect the target afterwards. It's the main reason there's not that many great spells to reflect. You can reflect Charge, which is funny, but sometimes really bad. You can reflect Phantom Lance, which is of course decent, you get some Illus, and you can reflect the Cask as, there we go.
Well, I get the answer to my question. Does the Naga Radiance to the late game matter? Looks like Aoi says yes, 50-minute Radiance buy on a Naga Siren.
I like his build-up though, that he didn't go for it first. Like that was what we were talking about, or as his first major item. Like, is this the kind of game where you want your Nagas to get ready? But he went for all the utility they needed first. Vlad's, Glimmer, Solar Crest, and now Radiance. It's really farmed.
There's actually another utility item which we haven't really discussed, and that's the Acronym Scepter of Naga Siren. You can stop the fight and actually give life back to your own teammates as well. Like,
yeah, I've seen that played once. I can't remember which team did it.
But in this game would actually make a little bit more sense.
Which game was that? It was a support Naga. It might have been VP or Navi at Dream League. I feel like it's recent. I can't remember.
I'm sure the Brains Trust on our side will be able to work it out.
But it has been done once, and it was pretty cool. I don't know if it was needed that game though, but you know, style points.
Well, IG's gonna have a lot more style soon. That Death Ward upgrade's up for Chuan, but the Rocket scouting out the fact they're doing Roshan. And the Aghanims has also now arrived for Clockwork, so Universe instantly TPing himself out. But this Death Ward from Chuan could do a hell of a lot of work during a fight. That's if he can get it off, of course. Between Song of the Siren now and Aghanims hooking Clockwork, across the maid could almost walk up to him and just frostbite him under the cover of a BKB.
I think we've reached the point when he has to be the game winner for the team. It's very important for IG that he got it, because without it, they just lost so much of their grip on the map. I thought they would still be able to farm the same as EG and just keep the status quo, but they're falling very far behind.
EG's actually going in to take Roshan. They walk into the pit, and now the charges come out. PPD gets the BKB off, and Universe hook shots in, and Isolate's burning 4 stops away. They're throwing everything they got into PPD, but their BKBs are going to start to wear off. There's instead to make sure Luo can't run away too far, and Samael, big wind up. Nope, he's going to get Hex. Lotus Orb, where's that protection? Now he's going to get the ulti up. Universe, another hook shot in. Samael's going to go down. Luo still takes a huge amount of damage, but the Death Ward is out from Chuan. He can't kill off Fear, but they can move up for the rest of them. Aoi 2000, the mass amounts of PLs doing their work. Fear still trying to kill off the Tombstone, missing uphill. The Placerfield's out to bring Chuan down very, very low, but Fear, the hook shot up, actually able to get the kill, but Fear's going to drop. The Aegis Immortal is in his hands, so at least they got that. The Placerfield face got to be careful about this. That's why they get the pullback. Fear, no Placerfield available. Now he can do it with a Shiva's Guard. No, he can't even get that off. Down for 100 seconds on the sideline. Clockwork, the only sole survivor. And what's happened in the lanes? Well, Naga Siren will defend, that's all.
Why did he buy back?
I think it's just for top lane. I think that's the only reason, because Universe wasn't going to get there in time.
He was almost there. They would have taken almost no damage on that tower. I'm not sure if there's some sort of a bigger plan behind this. I mean, he buys back, he goes to the wave, and then he goes back to Fountain again. So it seemed a little bit like a waste. I don't know if he was anticipating a Boots of Travel play out of Ferrari and wanted to be there, but then he might have just died, so... A little bit strange, but in high-pressure situations like this, you do have to make those calls within a few seconds, and I don't agree with that one.
It could also be the fact, well, then again, pushing the creep wave out doesn't make a lot of sense when SF wants to find souls. Like, he needs to have it back inside the base, at least for the start. But at least all the creep waves, when IG is going to be ready to push in, will be back across the river. But we get now a full SCII done over on the PL. 53 minutes in, and he is practically 6-slotted.
Yeah, he's pretty much maxed. And Sumail in that last fight, he has a Hex. I don't think he used it. He got blown up from full to 0.
Yeah, he got controlled the entire fight. Sumail was actually a complete non-factor.
They must have used the song too late, because else I can't imagine how IG could get away with that. The only hero who popped the BKB was Luo, right? Yeah, the PL had it after the song, and so did Storm, so...
Oh.
Wait, how did that fight go down again? No, they did... wait, so they did sing. They used song for the Roche. That's what happened. They used song for the Roche, and then after it ended, they went on the Shadow Feet. That's right. So maybe in hindsight, that was a little bit of a mistake. But it's so hard to grasp in the moment what you need to do.
And Sumail really needs to find himself. I don't know, anything. He needs more damage. He needs more souls. He needs something. There's just not enough damage coming out when IG push in, but they back up. They don't want to fight. I know Fear just respawned, so why take the risk? You don't have Aegis behind you. I don't know what happened to the Cheese during the fight. Actually ended up in Fear's hands. So it's in the hands of Razor now.
Yeah, they're going to smoke and go for the play.
Well, the hookshot in from Universe could do the work. He's looking over the river. Ferrari's the first one that's in line. Luo is still at the back lines. In fact, Ferrari, he actually waited for him to jump up. Now actually tries to split the action with the cogs. Hex on Ferrari. PPD, BKB into the ulti. Ferrari's still in range, but now he'll jump out. Chuan also isolated, but the bigger thing, Tombstone up, and Luo charges back in against Sumail. He's dying so quickly. The death lord from Chuan. He's right in the back lines, but the Naga song will end up cancelling, and the BKBs are still there. Aoi just wants to get the hell out, but you've lost 2 of your huge cores from EG. And they all have to bail out. And where are your buybacks right now? In fact, where are your teammates? PBD has to glimmer cape away. Ferrari is body blocking him, allowing Chuan to get in range. But now the paralyzing cast bounces back up. And where it is, in fact, actually got reflected by the Lotus Orb. So they cannot chase PPD any further. He will survive, but they're going to lose their tier 2. The SF has to buy back. Razor has buyback in 33 gold. He's 30 gold away now. So they will be able to defend their mid lane.
Luo with such a big play, though. The Death Ward really made that fight. I think it was difficult to say who was going to come out on top. The moment that Death Ward is channeled for just 3 seconds, it's over. And AOI, again, maybe a little too late, or not again, but this time maybe a little bit too late on the song. The moment the Death Ward's out, he needs to salvage it immediately. They can't stand and tank that for any time at all.
Oh, Burning, trying to get the side racks at the moment. Sumail doesn't have enough physical damage by himself. PPD moves forward, but they're going to take out the melee racks. The hook shot through. Burning actually focusing on Aoi, but they're going to stop this. The paralyzing cast still bouncing around, and they're now trying to free him up as Sumail. He doesn't have Requiem of Soul, so what's he here for? It's just a direct attack into Ferrari, trying to bring down the Storm Spirit, while Fear focusing on Chuan up on the high ground. He has Death Ward available, thinking about letting it rip, but then again, there's no mana for it. They still keep battling up, but Sumail's down for 2 minutes. That's a big one. PPD did get a long duration ulti off, and Faith and Burning, they're so low, but Fear can't get the front lines. Luo's making sure of that, triggers the BKB, a hook shot up, now the ensnare, and that's the death of the Spirit Breaker. No more joy for him, but he keeps Ferrari up, he keeps the big cores alive, and they got a side melee racks to boot as we rapidly approach the 1 hour mark.
That was... I think if Luo didn't charge in there, they might have been able to end the game in a moment. He wanted to try to... I don't know if he wanted to try to save the Tombstone or thought they could fight, but his entire team already backed off, and then he was like, here I come.
It kind of almost felt like he was a buffer. Like, threw himself forward. You take the time. You take the time to kill me. I keep my PL up. I keep my Storm up. That's the more important thing right now.
It's possible Universe could have reached one of the other targets with a hookshot, and it could have been even worse. Yep. I'm not sure. If that was the case, then it was a good play from Luo. It looked weird though, but you're right. That might have been what they tried to do there.
And Ferrari's almost instant respawn. He's got 6.2k, he's got BTs up and running and 23 Bloodstone charges and a level 25 Storm Spirit. They're basically going to fight 6 heroes, EG. And they don't have buybacks on both of their cores. But they do still at least have the cheese over on the Razor. That's one upside.
I think IG don't want to focus him, though. He's like the last hero they take down, I think, in this game. Oh, he's going to drop the cheese now. Guess they want to pass it over to Sumail. As they do realize he is the main target, maybe they can get a little bit of a surprise play out of it if IG don't expect it.
At the same time, with the initiations coming in from IG, Sumail hasn't been able to get anything off. He spent most of that last fight just walking around, but he didn't have Requiem, so what were we really expecting? 12 seconds until Sumail's up. IG trying to capitalize on the moment. There's this tier 3 tower, gonna take some damage. In comes Universe. Cogs is pushing Chuan back, 4 staffs away, and the Blade Mail to protect himself as the doppelganger from Burning just tries to get a little bit more space. This tier 3 tower at 144 life and dropping. Get a Lincoln Sphere now also completed on the Storm Spirit flying out. More immunity for Ferrari.
What does he want that against?
Lotus Orb?
That doesn't work that way.
So it doesn't bounce back. I don't know if it can cancel the paralyzing cast bounce back.
All right.
I'm going next level, man.
Is there anything that this Lincoln's is really good against? The Hex on Shadow Fiend? It's got to be the only thing, but I feel like he's always initiating with the BKB on anyway. But maybe.
Either way, hook shot up, they go for Luo. Burning is going to get pushed out of this one too, but it isolates Luo for the moment. But now, they're right in the middle of the fight. There goes your plans of field. And Aoi, well, the Song of the Siren will go, but can they isolate the BKB? Sumail can't get anything off. He's almost down. He pops the cheese. He's got time. Ferrari still on the front lines. The Requiem's building up, but the Death Ward from Chuan. They need to cancel this one. He waited till the end of the Song of the Siren. Sumail, they got the there. They do stop it, but he's getting bashed around. Universe 4-staffs up. Sumail raises something. He's going to die in the middle of this engagement. The Glimmer Cave. He's still alive. Finally, he'll drop at the same time. These cogs, he's burned almost all of IG out. You'll have Storm Spirit up in 1 second time and he'll BT up, but they've already lost Burning. Face on the run. And where is your Storm Spirit coming to? He's BTing into the lane. You got a second one with the PL buying back, but you've isolated out Faith. Universe wants to finish the job, but Ferrari's finishing up the rest of his team. Can they even finish off Faith? The Naga loses the chasing, but now Universe dragged back into Ferrari. Burning's right behind him. And EG, have they got what it takes to survive? Fear is still here, but you got fresh cores and IG back to the world of the living.
I actually think they can hold this. It's
especially when they can get Burning
more
like
or less
this.
4 and 2. Too late on the
late.
Lincolns.
You got the Lotus Orbs up. Ferrari being locked. Fear. He's done 168 points of damage. Now the Song of the Siren. Ferrari isolated. No Scythe device available. The Hex, but the Universe pushed back. Have they got some time? Turn the Song off. There's your burn. Ferrari with the BKB jumps away on 500-ish life points, but on the bottom lane, that creep wave still pushing in. They have to come back and defend, and he even gets a regeneration room for Ferrari.
Aoi actually got in the way of Universe's hookshot there. He tried to cog and then hookshot, and if Aoi doesn't block that, I think that's a kill. So they missed out on a really big opportunity to take down the Storm there. But man, okay, so I doubted the Lincolns, right? I was like, I don't know how good this is against the Shadow Fiend. You're just going to BKB engage anyway, and that's exactly what they did.
Yep.
And the moment the song ended, Sumail instantly hexed the Storm and charged Requiem, and the Hex was wasted, Storm jumps out and resets. And because of the number of Bloodstone charges Ferrari had in that fight, even after he dies, he doesn't even need to buy back. He was like almost instantly there. So that's a buyback they still have remaining. I do believe, yes, they have 3 buybacks as a matter of fact. Burning on cooldown, as well as the Witch Doctor of Chuan.
Yep. So we're getting a little too tense for me. 61 minutes into the game, and EG and IG both have managed to claim Raxes. Obviously, IG's done more damage with all the tier 3 towers down. That range Rax is just clinging to life on the bottom lane. But the hilarious thing is, the one lane that EG has some level of power on is the middle lane. Because that's the one lane of Rax that IG have not touched and they were able to bring down. But it doesn't then mean they're being pressured so much on the side lanes. Kind of almost feels like the only option, because EG shouldn't be able to get the global control. Like maybe Naga split push with Illusions can do it with the Radiance Burn. That'll be able to help, but it's not enough to keep the momentum up.
He needs his Octarine first before he can do that, I think. And then even then, he also needs Manta. It's not enough. I'm actually not sure if AOI's decision to get Octarine is better than the Manta. You know, in most cases when you're playing a core Naga, you want to get I think some get Yasha into Octarine, but most get the Manta first and then Octarine, so you have like both of them benefiting from the cooldown reduction. But in this case, it might be just as much for the cooldown on the song, honestly. I feel like most of the time on Naga, it's not that relevant when it's already level 3 anyway. Whether it's 45 seconds or 60, how often does that really play a big role? In this game, it could make a world of difference.
It could. A world of difference comes in many shapes and forms. This time, comes in 2 forms, Aegis and Cheese. Spirit Breaker will take the Cheese. Aegis the Immortal goes into that Phantom Lancer. So we're basically looking at trip burnings in 3.5 minutes-ish.
Yeah, I think IG want to time this push so that they go when Burning has like
Buyback.
30, 40 second cooldown on buyback maybe.
Yep, that'll work.
And then go in with your Aegis so you're sure you get to use your Aegis. And then should you die twice, you also have buyback. This might be too much for EG to overcome. I've already been massively impressed with how long they managed to hold on.
He's going to go for Burning, trying to push him back, but Burning actually didn't get pushed back here. In fact, his Universe is finding more trouble. Doppelganger up, and Fear just wants to go all hog for him. He wants Burning down. Doppelganger's on cooldown for 4 seconds, so Fear will get some good drain time out, but the rest of IG are on the way. The Song and the Siren's out, and the rest of IG, yep, they're disengaging until they can catch out Fear. He's trying to run back out through the mid. The wall is up, the shield is up, but Ferrari, BKBs, Tombstone, Lotus Orb trying to protect Fear for now. It's not going to work. Universe pushing back Lure. The BKBs protect them. PPD can't get the ulti off. He actually got charged out of it, so no ulti in Sumail. Requiem being minimally effective. In fact, the full Death Ward time was even better for it. It's a triple kill for Chuan. He just sat in the back lines as the Witch Doctor, and PPD calls the GG. 64 minutes is our first game here on the main stream for ESL One Frankfurt, and what a great way to start, Sind.
That was such a weird game in so many ways. Like, IG's early game was so extremely dominant that I thought they could end that game in, say, like 30, 35 minutes maybe. Then they make a couple of mistakes, and EG just make the most out of pretty much nothing. They only had that one combo to play, and they made it work perfectly twice in a row. And then all of a sudden we get this back and forth game where it more or less comes down to who gets most out of the Song, BKB timings, layering spells correctly, and ultimately, oh yeah, what a chaotic game with team fights. Wait,
let's come back to the panel to get their thoughts.
Sitting watching that game, Honey as well as Melek both said, like, well, it was unfair to get predictions before the draft, because right after the draft, their bets would have been on IG. Do you guys feel the same way, looking at the picks they had, or was that just a lame excuse from him for being potentially wrong?
It would be difficult when you see like a Nagastar and a Crystal Bait and two supports together to actually bet on such heroes. But at the same time, like, EG was still in a comfort zone. They're playing all the heroes which they're feeling very, very happy with. Maybe not the supports, but at least the 3 cores. So I wouldn't have given it to IG just because of that, no.
It was actually because
I think IG's stress was stronger too.
A lot of it was because IG had the heroes who pulled through the early game, and the Undying being like such a force to reckon with in the first 10-15 minutes, nearly impossible to fight early on. And then because they had the Phantom Lancer, which by a large margin is the best late game hero in the game, we actually saw, I didn't expect it to drag out that long. As Truls was saying, it was quite surprising that EG managed to fight their way back into it, but that was the strength of their lineup. In a 5-on-5 scenario where they could do all the kinds of setups they wanted to, and once they got their 2 or 3 core items on their heroes, they had the better lineup for the 30-minute mark. And it wasn't until IG started getting their Black King bars and generally items on the Phantom Lancer, because it seemed like for the longest time he didn't really do anything. So EG had this momentum that they really needed to utilize a bit better. I really got to commend Fear on the itemization that he did, though. The double armor instead of going for Axe, I felt was really good.
He became incredibly strong in that game, because all of the damage that was coming out of the Radiant was, or sorry, out of the Dire was, well, was it all physical, more or less? It at least seemed like it. Like,
pretty much.
There's a little bit of magic damage here and there, but the whole thing is you just Glimmer Cape him 3 times in a row, and then you don't really care about the magic damage that much. So I can't remember, maybe Ben knows by heart how much magic resist you have when you're Glimmered and your base magic resist. It might be something like 60.
Not sure.
Maybe even more. It's like, it's 55 plus 25, right?
67,
so, yeah, something like that. So it's really, really high, and they made the most out of those. I think Glimmer Cape MVP for that game, seriously, for the Radiant. It kept them in the game for like 20 minutes.
I think the game in general is a showing of how much items matter in Dota, and just how big of a part of the game they actually play. We see on IG's side of things, and as old as the item is, the Force Staff, especially good against the Clockwork, it's just a must get against Clockwork. And then on the EG side of things, the Glimmer Cape. They had 3 Glimmer Capes 30 minutes into the game, and PPD especially, what great usage of Glimmer Cape. I think PPD on EG side of things really kept them in the game for as long as he did.
Yeah, so many great ultimates he hit, and IG really didn't even do anything against it. They were literally just standing in there.
Yeah, in one of the fights, what I really loved is he Glimmer Caped in. He positioned himself right behind the tombstone, so they couldn't even see him. I was like, where is this ultimate coming from? And it turns out he was behind the tombstone. Like, PPD played an amazing game, and I don't think he couldn't have done more. I think he himself is probably pretty disappointed with the fact that they didn't manage to pull through, just because of how great of a performance he had.
If he could have done more, it would have maybe been in the draft, as we talked about. Like, I would agree with you that IG's draft was probably the stronger one after seeing it, but
if they made it through the early game, which they did, you know, you called it as well, the caster curse and everything, it was we were pretty set on the fact that IG would win that game until EG then started to fight as strong as they did.
They didn't have enough catch to chase like the really low HP PL, the really low HP Storm Spirit. They could never really get those buybacks down and then push 5v4. That's ideally what they wanted to do, but there were just so many situations where they just barely escaped. And then, I mean, this also shows why Naga is always going to be a top tier pick. Song of the Siren is just too useful. Kill Tombstone, set up for big ultimates, take down Roshan, kite BKBs, the list goes on. And that was just so incredibly useful throughout the whole entire game. And I think a big part was Sumail actually sold his Yules. And you mentioned items like the Ag Scepter, I think, on the Witch Doctor was pretty big. But he didn't have a Yules, and he was very reliant on Glimmer Capes as well as his Butterfly and the Lotus Orb, but he couldn't survive. He died like 3 or 4 fights in a row in the late game.
And that's with a Satanic and a Butterfly. Yes. And it really it goes to show that it hurts you when you need to commit for a Scythe of Vice on your main damage dealer, just because that's your only way of locking down the Storm Spirit. But when you're fighting up against a Phantom Lancer, you desperately need that damage to take care of the Lancer as well as the Storm Spirit in the time that he's disabled. So you're like at an impasse. And we saw the Razor buy up the Mjolnir, and you know, at the time being, with the lead they started having and the pressure they could put on IG, I think Mjolnir was a perfect item. But in hindsight, they just...
I think it was good. I think what they need to do is get Mjolnir on Razor, get Daedalus on the Shadow Fiend, and then actually get an Orchid on the Naga. I think the Radiance didn't really do that much because...
No, I agree. I don't think the Radiance was a good pickup by any means either. It was at the 50-minute mark.
Yep.
It's a logical pickup, but... in hindsight, it wasn't the best.
I don't think they would have gone for it either if they had not lost the top lane. I think the Radiance was an act of desperation in wanting to push out the top lane and thinking that's what Radiance is going to contribute with.
Yeah, they really needed like they needed more damage on Sumail, and they also just needed another way to lock him down after BKB because the Storm Spirit got Lincoln so darn late, and he shouldn't have been able to get away with what he did that game.
But there was a lot of individual, little, small, like great plays from everyone. I thought this was a very, very high-level Dota game. There's not so much, to say about individual mistakes rather than individual great performances. I think everyone had their share of great plays on both sides of the fence.
Definitely. Well, but that concludes the first match you saw on this very stream. However, there was, of course, a second match going up on the second stream at the same time. So let's take a quick look at the brackets to see where we stand right now, as IG took that game over the guys from Evil Geniuses. And that means that IG will face Team Secret, which was winning against Alliance. And so Alliance and EG will be meeting in the lower bracket. And we have a next game coming up, and that will be Cloud9 going up against the guys from Virtus Pro, and that will happen after a quick break.